Welcome to Super Movie Brothers. Let's start the show.
This is a podcast on the Podfix Network. You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.
Welcome to Super Movie Brothers, episode 106. I'm your host, Super Movie Brother Dave.
I'm your host, Super Movie Brother Jay.
Jay, we have a massive trailer park dump to take today.
It's a big dump.
Yeah, well, so
Comic-Con dump.
Comic-Con was over the weekend, so a ton of trailers dropped, and we don't really have time to get to every single trailer, let alone get to all the news for everything that's been coming out, but there's a lot of exciting stuff that's been coming out, and some of the trailers themselves are exciting too. I'm impressed by one or two of them for the most part. Some of the DCEU ones we'll get into later on, but I'm very excited about that. But Jay, before we start getting into the meat of this episode, we had a special guest who joined us this week. He actually joined us for a Patreon episode that'll be coming up very soon as well. So I'll make sure that I tweet out when the Patreon episode's coming up. But we had John from Who Spiked the Puns up here, formerly of Now in Technicolor. He's been on the show before, but this is the first time he was ever here live and in person.
Yes, in Philadelphia.
Yes. So
in-house with the Super Movie Bros. We recorded a fun segment. He spent 3 days with us. It was a lot of fun. We did a whole bunch of different activities with him. And we just had a blast. It was a great time. He was an awesome guy, and it was a lot of fun to hang out and get to know him a little bit more. And yeah, it was a great trip.
So, I mean, he texted me about several months ago and just said, like, I have some time off. I'm going to take a couple vacation days. He's like, but I could drive up and we could hang out. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So he drove 12 and a half hours from Thursday night into Friday, and then he got here, and he didn't nap, man. He went right out. Yeah. I unfortunately had to go to a wedding on Friday night, but you took him out to some of our local breweries. You took him to Humeville Inn to get a bite to eat.
Yep, go to a local joint, and then bar hopped a couple breweries, the Chamonix Creek Brewery, and finished off with Broken Goblet Brewery, where we met up with you and Lauren.
Might have been one of my most favorite times at Broken Goblet, because you got fucking owned. You got fucking owned by a dude who's like 5'10" and like 40 pounds overweight. You got owned in basketball by him. He fucking broke your ankles. It was so good to watch. It was so good.
Our good friend Righteous, I had no idea he was a baller like that. I haven't touched a basketball in many years now, and I do pride myself to being a pretty good defensive player. And I was completely dumbfounded. I did not expect that whatsoever. He has some skills, and granted, I was drinking a lot more than he did, I think, at the time.
Don't make excuses.
And it's a bar.
Stone sober.
Got my boat shoes on. I didn't want to be tripping and flying.
Stone sober. He would have smoked you.
I might need to actually play him 1-on-1 on the courts, legit.
So Righteous didn't just juke him once. He didn't just juke him twice. He juked him three fucking times.
Yeah, it was 3 times. I don't even think my hand got to the ball once. Maybe once. I might have nipped it once.
It was so good. Yeah, when he was standing there having a conversation, you walked up behind him and knocked it down. You were trying to assert your dominance again, but everyone knew. There's blood in the water.
And there's a video out there somewhere.
Yes, somewhere. It's I believe it's on the Broken Goblet Instagram.
Maybe one day. Not yet. It hasn't been out. I've been checking. Believe me, I've been checking. So it's gonna be a disgrace if my basketball buddies find that video. It's gonna be bad in the chat room.
I'm just gonna text Mike and ask Mike to send it to me, because Mike's the one that took the video. Mike, the owner of Broken Goblet, took the video, so I'll text them and ask him to send it over.
Yeah, that was funny.
So that was great. We had fun doing that. Then we came back here and we jumped in the pool for for my wife 30 seconds, for you about 3 minutes, and for me about an hour.
It was chilly as shit.
I just don't get cold, man. I don't know what it is. Like, as soon as I jump in the water, I get that initial shock, but then like body temperature just equals out, and I'm good. I'm good.
I
I can
don't know
sit
if
in
it's
cold water
the
all day.
drinking, or maybe because it was nighttime or something like that. I don't know, but I was really cold.
You lost every contest that night.
I did.
You
Thank
lost
God I didn't have sex that night, because I would have failed miserably.
Miserably, yeah. Because you lost you lost in basketball, and then you lost it because we had a bet who could stay in the water longer, and you were like, I'll do all right. And then you're talking about doing a polar plunge and stuff, and then you jump out after 2 minutes of being in the water. I'm gonna do a polar plunge.
I don't know.
We're still gonna do a polar plunge.
I know we will. I know we will.
It's gonna be,
that's what it takes. I just need somebody to like drag me to these things, because like I'm a pussy by nature, but just have somebody just tell me, go do this now. Like, okay.
Like I said, local radio show around here, Preston and Steve. They usually do. Steve Morrison does a polar plunge every year at the Chamonix State Park, jumping into the Delaware River in February.
It's got to be warmer than the ocean, right?
Nope, probably colder. Saltwater doesn't retain doesn't freeze quite like the water does in the freshwater. So yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be good. It'll be nice. We'll just dive right in. Just dive right in, buddy, and then get out. That's all you gotta do. And then wrap up tight.
So you gotta submerge,
and then feel your testicles like just shrink inside your abdomen.
I won't check them for another couple of days after that.
Yeah, forget about it. You just basically cryogenically froze your sperm just instantly. I can just picture Jay getting out, and it's like George Costanza getting out of the pool. It's shrinkage. I was in the pool.
But Saturday was a lot of fun too. We actually recorded the segment with John. That's on the Patreon.
We did, yeah. So our Patreon episode that we recorded with John is going to be
It was fun.
Name that movie theme in 8 bits. It's where I played movie themes that were 8-bitted, so like 8-bit music from like old NES video games, and then I played them for 8 seconds, and you guys had to take turns guessing.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun, and the only way you're going to be able to listen to that is if you join the Patreon. So you're going to have to go over to www.patreon.com/supermoviebros, and you're going to have to pledge at least $1 a month to get the free content, because now we have 2 Patreon episodes that are going to be going up. We got one where Jay talks about his trials and tribulations on dates over the past couple weeks, and then the other one will be this game that we played with John from Now in Technicolor, which was honestly a lot of fun. And if you think
it was competitive,
if you think Jay was bad at naming foreign titles, oh boy, he misses a couple real easy ones. And I want everyone who listens to it to play along at home and let us know how they,
it would be a lot of fun to listen to. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we did that on Saturday during the day, and then we all got dressed and we went out. We went out for a night on the town.
Yes, we did.
And we started it by touring Yards Brewery. Yards has opened up a new brew house. Their original one was 17,000 square feet. This one 70,000 square feet. And they said we're not producing more now, but we will. And it's a very cool place. So Yards is a brewing company out of Philadelphia, and one of the things they pride themselves on is that they don't follow the trends of the craft beer world.
Right.
All their recipes are 300 plus years old. All the recipes. So, and they even have the Founding Fathers line where they make Thomas Jefferson's Spruce Ale, George Washington's Tavern Ale. These are all beers that were actually brewed by those Founding Fathers.
Yeah.
And
it's really cool.
How'd they say? They acquired the recipes, meaning they stole them. They stole the recipes, and now they've been brewing them for years. But it's a very, very cool place. Our tour guide was fucking amazing. Like, I loved that dude.
Hilarious.
And he got you to laugh. So everyone.
No, I think that was a part of his shtick.
Everyone was laughing like the whole time, but like, I don't know. Sometimes I think Jay just zones out. I think like when he's talking,
it takes me a lot to like. I'm not gonna like laugh out loud. I'm not a laugh out loud person unless I really either a joke hits home or I know the person well enough and I feel comfortable.
Well, Jay, a joke hit home for you.
So that's what he says.
It was a pedophilia joke.
I don't remember this pedophilia joke. Everybody keeps saying it. I'm like, look. I don't even know.
He called you a fucking android. He's like, I can't believe I made that robot guy laugh.
Such a compliment.
Such a compliment, yeah. God, that androgynous tall man.
Look, no, without a doubt, this guy Mike something, best tour guide I think probably out there in the country.
Yeah, he's the tour guide manager, so he basically is in charge of the tours and stuff there.
He was fantastic.
And he says he always does the last tour of the day. And God, he was drinking the entire time, and I was just so envious of him.
Yeah.
He gets to have a beer on every tour that day. That's just so...
I'm pretty sure he finished, we all get one can of beer during the tour.
Yeah.
It's like a 45-minute tour, and I think he was the first one to finish the can.
Yeah. So the touring the brew house was great. And we also hung out in the bar there for a little bit, and me and you played pool.
Did.
And I brought my mediocre pool skills, and you upped your game. And
as we got along, I warmed up a little bit, and I closed strong.
You shook all the dust off from getting your ass handed to you twice on Friday night, and you showed up.
Goddamn right.
And you played pool right.
Those yuppie motherfuckers.
Yeah, and we met two guys there.
They were cool though.
They were really cool. Very cool. The guys we were.
They're probably
with.
Listening to us.
Hopefully.
They said they were. You never know.
Well, I mean, we had a lot of fun. I believe their names were Scott and Matt, if I remember correctly.
Matthew or something. Yeah.
And I apologize if I'm getting your name wrong.
Yeah.
I met you once, but we had a great time.
You guys were great. Yeah.
We had a great time. But what really bothered me was at one point there was my wife was playing shuffleboard with John and two random guys who just kind of came up and they asked, can they play winners? And they said yes. So the guy that was on my wife's side, the entire time, my wife said she could feel this, she knew it. He was just staring at her ass the entire time, like eyes glued to her ass. Anytime he wasn't shooting, he was watching my wife's butt.
Wow.
And I started noticing that from across the bar, and I'm like, that's rude as shit. And the best part is he was there with his girlfriend, who also noticed it and was making comments to him the whole time.
Wow.
And I'm not the type of guy who's gonna walk up to my wife and put my arm around her or something, because she's not my property. She can handle herself if she needs to.
She's a Trenton gal. She can handle herself.
It was just bothering me, just sitting there. I was just like, man, why is this guy staring at my wife so much?
It's just weird that his girlfriend was there and so aware of it too, right? And then I don't know, but at the same time, it's kind of flattering, right?
You trying to pick my wife up for a threesome? You got to pay for that, sir. You got to come over to me and
you're not Idris Elba.
Yeah, you're not Idris Elba. The only man allowed in the marital bed, Idris Elba.
Or Jeff Goldblum.
Or Jeff Goldblum, as we learned later on. My wife is very much into Jeff Goldblum.
Hey, and of course, my comment tonight was I want to be there for it.
I'm done. I came. Yes, well, that was good. Anyway, terrible impressions continue.
But we had a great bar hopping night.
We did,
even in the rain. Despite that,
poured rain.
We barcade. We stopped by there. We played some video games, some old vintage games. I think John loved a lot.
And me and John will live in infamy. We scored number 24 on the arcade game Terminator 2 Judgment Day, the light gun shooter that's on there, the rail gun shooter on that's there. Yeah, 25, number 24.
All right. Out of the whole city.
It'll be a cold day in hell when someone beats that high score, let me tell you. But yeah, we did go to Barcade. That was a lot of fun. And then I think that's the night where we came home and we started to feel how tired we were. We crashed. We all got back here and
a Steve's cheesesteak to cap off the night would do that as well.
Absolutely. And then finally on Sunday, man, we played it light. We went to Seaside Heights. We walked the boardwalk a very little bit, and we went on the beach. It was a red flag day, which if you don't know what that means on Jersey beaches, it means the rip current was so bad that you couldn't go any further past your knees or your waist. And
pretty much your knees. That's what they kept on saying, but they were kind of letting us go out to our waist at times.
Yeah, and the whole
water
time
was extremely rough, and you could feel the current. But really, what was so cool was to see how large these waves were, because we don't see waves like that very often on the Jersey Shore.
Oh, absolutely not. No. I mean, not
at all, and they were massive,
12 to 15 foot. I mean, which is it's pretty high for the Jersey Shore. And I was laughing because I was like, the undertow is not that bad. And then there was a couple waves where it was really pulling me. I didn't even realize until we sat in the car for a while, but my legs were dead tired from just trying to stand in one spot at the beach. But we managed to illegally sneak some beers onto the beach, which was great.
It was nice. I was very confident with my skills, and
we ate at a great place on the boardwalk.
We did
Jersey pork roll.
Oh my lord!
And we ate a sandwich, and let me tell you, this sandwich
was something.
Might be like responsible for some of my lag today, because I feel like this is still weighing heavy on my heart, literally, with cholesterol.
But it tasted so good.
So I ate a Jersey fatty, which was
all three of us did,
which is pork roll, tater tots, and mozzarella sticks, all on a Kaiser roll, smashed down together, and then you can choose barbecue, buffalo, or marinara sauce on it. And I tasted it in my mouth with burps for, I swear, like almost 12 hours. 12 hours. But it was delicious. It was delicious.
It really was. It was so cool.
Probably somewhere around
something different like that.
12 to 1,500 calories, but it was.
But it was nice to support those guys, because they used to be a food truck company, and they moved up on the boardwalk there, and they'd been open for like maybe 6 months or so, and it's unique. It was a cool little spot, small little menu. And it's pork roll. A lot of people love it. So
they can get themselves to serve a couple bottles at a time. Like then they're really gonna take off.
Oh yeah,
because you can serve beer on the you can serve bottle beer on the boardwalk. You just can't take beer onto the beach, and you can't smoke on the boardwalk. You can't. There's a lot of shit. They got a lot of fucking rules.
There's a lot of rules. It was really strong. I'm not used to going on beaches like that. I felt like I felt like I had like a spotlight on me the whole time.
Yeah. Well, because we were illegally drinking beer on the beach, and we're trying to hide it in beer koozies.
Yeah, but like,
and Jay, the brilliant man he is, brings beer koozies that are labeled with beer. Here's a Dogfish Head beer koozie to put your brew dog in. I'm not drinking beer, officer. Are you sure about that, son?
The one was full. You can't read the labels.
That's true. I was thinking like maybe one of us should just have a Pepsi in ours, so we can go. It's fucking Pepsi. You get out of here, you pig. You fucking cap. Are you a cop? But they're really strict there, because like they will have undercover cops walking around in like bathing suits.
We were literally posted outside the Jersey Shore house.
That's right, yeah.
Where the location was.
Where they filmed Jersey Shore.
It's understandable. That's like a heavily guarded area.
I was pretty sure like everybody who was on that beach, not one of them were from Pennsylvania or New Jersey. That was that is a New York beach. That is all New Yorkers. I had to
probably.
All I saw was New York Yankees stuff as far as the eye could see. Everywhere we went.
I believe it.
We were in Yankee country, man. But and then when we got back, me and Lauren cooked for John. It was very nice. We made a pot boil, which is andouille sausage, shrimp. I did little neck clams in there as well, with some potatoes, and you boil that all together, steam it all together with Old Bay and lemon.
Like a jambalaya sorts?
Yeah, but I mean, it's all solid.
Like
if you ever go to like Joe's Crab Shack, they do pot boils there too. But Joe's Crab Shack sucks. Ours is way better.
I don't like that place.
That place is terrible.
The one time I was there, I was really unimpressed.
Nice cocktails. Okay, like pretty good cocktails. Everything else there sucks, but really expensive cocktails too. That's the problem with them. Anyway, so we made it, and I don't think John eats as much as we do, because like it makes like a full plate of food, like a full fucking plate. Like it fills your whole. It's probably about a pound of food by the time you're done eating it. And John was like picking at it. Oh, there's also corn on the cob in it too. So he ate like one or two pieces of the corn on the cob, some of the potato, and he's not a big seafood fan, but he did eat like all of his shrimp and stuff. But I was like, you don't have to eat all of it, man. And it was like sitting on his lap for like an hour. I was like, you could throw it away. We're not going to send you a Somalian child to stare at you and cry as you throw the food in. But it's the final supper
before he travels another 13 hours.
And then we capped our night off by playing some Super NES in tournaments. Me, him, and Lauren. We played Mario Kart Battle. And then we played some Street Fighter. I owned in Mario Kart Battle. No one could touch me. I won the majority of those games. But then when we got to Street Fighter, John just fucking owned me and Lauren. So much so that we got bored, and we're just like, I'm tired of getting beat. We're going to bed. Good night. Thanks for coming. Go. Leave now. No, he slept, and I saw him off around 5 o'clock this morning. He
left around 5? Okay.
Around 5, yeah. But we got some gifts, Jay. John brought us some
Thank
gifts,
you, John.
Which was very nice of him. So I'm currently using the one. It is the timed beer glass, where there is actually a hourglass filled with sand at the bottom of it.
It's pretty cool.
If you're a chugger, you get to see you get to try to beat your score every time. You get to try to beat the clock, which is fun. You got a martini shaker.
The martini shaker and a 6-pack of nice Dogfish 90-minute.
And we got, for movie cocktail, he brought us a cocktail utensil set, which was like amazingly nice.
Perfect,
right? Like the muddler is gorgeous.
Yeah, the whole setup thing
The long
was really
stirring
nice.
spoon.
I loved it.
Oh my god, I was like, I'm in love. I can't wait for our next movie cocktail when we get to use that because
Isn't it yours?
it is not. Mark is making the cocktail.
Mark, okay.
However, it's going to be my movie that wins because
That's true.
even though the poll is not over, I am up 20% on all of you for Batman Under the Red Hood will be our next.
Listen, everybody.
Sorry, Wizards.
I am coming back with a vengeance in season 2.
No, you're not, sir. No, you're not.
I'm taking Dave down. As long as he doesn't come in first place, that's all that matters.
I'm the Zeitgeister. I'm the one that knows what people want. Not you. Not you. Charlotte's Web. You chose Charlotte's Web.
the fuck up.
That shows how well you know what people want to hear us talk about.
It's endearing. I love it.
But we had a blast with John, and we're so happy that he got to come up and spend some time with us. And, he said he enjoyed himself, and we're probably going to do it again next year.
Yeah, he said he would love to. He had a great time, and he would love to come back next year.
Absolutely.
So,
Maybe he can come up and join us when Duty and Mon finally come back.
I think that would be perfect.
And we'll all get together and have a nice little
And I can finally meet them. Yeah, we'll go up to New York or something. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know what? I keep meeting people from this podcast network that we're in, and you have such great time talking to them. You have a great time doing podcasts with them and stuff like that. And then you meet them in person, and they're just the best people. Like all the people that I've met throughout the network are just the best people. I mean, Rob from Fam Film Boys, great guy, one of our good friends. And then of course I met Chris Brayton earlier this year. Justin and Chrissy from So I Married a Movie Geek, fantastic people.
And I met Justin from Epic Film Guys, and he was awesome as well.
Yep. So I mean, it's just, and Duty and Mon, obviously, my wife still loves Duty and Mon. So I keep inviting strangers into my house, and I have yet to be killed. So I'm very, very, very fortunate. Very fortunate.
Yeah. Get on the waiting list, people.
All right. So coming up next, me and Jay are going to skip over news. There's just so much shit that came out with Comic-Con.
Oh yeah.
We're not going to be filtering through all of it. Some of the stuff we'll probably touch on next week, or a good majority of the stuff we are going to touch on in our trailer park segment. So coming up next, we got our beers. Welcome back to the beer segment. Me and Jay got 2 beers that we got to review for you, but before we do that, we got to pay the bills. We're talking about Blowfish. Blowfish is the only FDA-approved hangover cure for less than $1.25 per dose. You can say goodbye to the night before. You just drop 2 tablets into 8 to 12 ounces of water, wait for that to dissolve, drink that down, and immediately you start feeling better.
That's right, Dave. I think this actually saved our weekend with John.
It did. The blowfish went around. Everyone recovered from Friday and Saturday night, and Sunday we had a far more relaxed day, and all that was thanks to Blowfish. So if you want to try out Blowfish for yourself, head over to www.forhangovers.com. That's FOR hangovers.com, and use the promo code SMBFish for your 15% off. All right, Jay. We got a drunk scene to do. And since me and you were going to be talking about DCEU movies a whole lot in our Comic-Con trailer park segment, I figured this is probably a pretty appropriate scene.
Back off, Leto. I'm serious.
Oh, come on, Chrissy.
Knock it off.
Sit down.
Let me go.
Hey, leave her alone, man. Or what? Tough guy? Or gonna have to ask you to leave.
I think I'll probably just leave when I'm good and ready.
Oh, there he is.
It's not worth it, sweetie.
I love the way that guy pushes him and Clark Kent doesn't move at all.
Yeah.
So if you're scratching your head, Jay doesn't even remember this scene being in the movie. And I said, it's because it's a 3-hour long movie. You're going to forget a thing or two. But no, this comes from Man of Steel. This is when
it's probably because it's like a 40-minute long action final scene in that movie where that's all you can remember.
But this is the scene where Clark Kent is working as a barback in the in the Canadian bar, and the truckers grabbing on the ass of the waitress, and Clark takes exception to that. But I just love it. And then when he's walking out, the dude throws the can at him. You forgot your tip. It beams him in the back of the head with it. And then, of course, when the guy goes outside to look at his truck, to get in his truck to leave, his truck is twisted and bent and metal and everything because Clark just went to town on it. And
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
That's not what Superman would do. That's not very Superman-like Clark. But then again, he's not Superman yet, so.
No, and he deserves it. Come on. That's kind of like Superman.
Jay, you got 2 beers. You got a beer that you got to review, man. What you got there?
Well, I have by the way, this is Christina Picks week. I told her to kind of keep it in our wheelhouse, but, go crazy. And she picked some pretty safe choices, I think, for us overall. I have an Imperial IPA from NOLA Brewing Company. It's called Flippy Floppy, and it's actually collaborated with Highwire Brewing. And it's an all right beer. It's for an Imperial IPA, which I'm usually not a fan of. It does have a nice, good, juicy summer flavor to it.
That is low in alcohol content, 7.8 for
7.8
for the
is
Imperial IPA.
Pretty low, but it does have that kind of Imperial aftertaste that I usually don't quite love, but it's mild enough where it is very drinkable, and it has a nice little hop front, but a nice juicy middle with a nice little Imperial flavor at the very end there. So if you guys love that, this could be a good summer beer for you to try, and I'll give this a 3.5 out of 5.
I haven't had very many collaboration beers that I've really enjoyed. I never really liked them all that much. They're interesting to try sometimes, but I always feel like too many cooks in the kitchen. A beer is always better when there's one brewmaster behind it. All right, and I am drinking the Lagunitas Super Cluster. This beer is 7.7% alcohol per volume, and it is Citra Hopped Mega Ale. That's what they call it, a Citra Hopped Mega Ale. And you know what? It's honestly, it's very, very good. It's very juicy up front, very citrus flavors up forward. And then you also have the Citra hops adding to that, with a nice floral hoppy up front, and then actually a pretty juicy finish as well.
Nice.
Now, it doesn't leave your mouth too terribly cotton mouth or dry. It's actually quite refreshing. I would say this even skirts the line of a pale ale almost. And what I find interesting about it is it's so light in color, but not that hazy that you and I usually see. This is full on clear. If you looked at this, you could think I have a glass of Schaefer or Budweiser or something. But it tastes so much better than that. It is honestly really, really good tasting. I'm gonna be giving it a 4 out of 5, man. I'm loving this.
Awesome.
So coming up next, me and Jay are gonna be getting into our Comic-Con trailer park. Beer! Welcome back to Trailer Park.
Fuck yeah. I love that song. We were jamming to that to the beach, man. It was great.
Well, you guys asked me whether I had any, well, you specifically asked me if I had any songs that pumped me up to play lacrosse when I used to play lacrosse.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, Thunderstruck and Motorhead, Ace of Spades. Yeah. I had a hype up soundtrack.
I thought you did.
Yeah. If you really are a very competitive person when you play sports, you have a hype up soundtrack.
Oh, absolutely.
So, but yeah, that was definitely one of the songs on there. Although I do want something that's more ours, right? Because that's stolen music, man. I kind of want something that's more ours. So I'm gonna put a request out there for anybody who can make music or likes to make music to make us Italian. To make us
no pressure
to make us a new trailer park stinger, something between 15 and 30 seconds, just a little stinger that we can use,
nice little hype tease, excitement kind of thing. I don't know,
but something that might also invoke the dirty white boys in both of us, that just sells the whole trailer park thing. But we got a huge trailer park. It's why this show is so short, is because we had so much to talk about. We had such a fun time with John. We wanted to share our experience hanging out with John with everybody. But then we also, we got 5 trailers to get through, Jay. That's a long trailer park.
It is
5 trailers. So I just wanted to keep this episode short and sweet and just kind of go through the bulk of Comic-Con, which was these trailers dropping. That's all Comic-Con is anymore. It's got nothing to do with comic books. It's got nothing to do with even like news. It's just a hype machine and where you go to drop your trailer. And James Wan and Warner Brothers waited a very long time to drop the Aquaman trailer, but it finally came.
Very long time. But it's understandable because there's so much CGI in the movie. But
then on the flip side of that, you got Godzilla, King of Monsters, which doesn't come out for 10 more months, dropping their trailer there as well. And it's a long trailer. I mean, it's not so much of a plot heavy trailer, but it's a long ass trailer for what essentially is a teaser,
right?
Or so. And then you got a couple surprise ones. Glass getting dropped was a big surprise. I don't think people were surprised by the Harry Potter one. In fact, we're not even going to be talking about the Crimes of Grindlewald. It's not that I'm not interested in it. I enjoyed Fantastic Beasts, but it's just not.
I actually think that this is going to be a lot better than the first one because I wasn't crazy about the first one. And this one looks a lot more darker, a lot more fun, a lot more action heavy, a little bit more.
It does look darker, but I also really enjoyed Jude Law. So I'm very happy to see him there. And I like the little tease, that Jude Law has where, he's saying, it's like, have you ever had Newt Scamander as a student? Then he doesn't take orders well. So I liked that.
He's got a good charm about him in general as an actor. So I think it works pretty well as far as it's great casting. It's great casting. And Johnny Depp, I'm kind of warming up to him. When this new trailer helped a lot with that.
And 2 years, I think, is like perfect. I don't think I need a Harry Potter film every year, but I think 2 years going back to the series is
for
nice.
5 movies every 2 years. Okay, I guess 2 years is fine. But
I'm not a huge Harry Potter file. Like I'm not really big into that.
I haven't seen them all,
but I have seen them all, and I do enjoy them to a certain degree. But I'm excited for it, but not excited enough that I need to start breaking it down because I feel like Harry Potter is one of those things where it's like I enjoy it as such an average fan of it that like I really can't break down a trailer on it. Like I can't call things because
fans are going to be eating us apart,
right?
Like just completely tearing us apart.
My wife and my sister-in-law probably can because they're both big into Harry Potter. But not, unfortunately, like I'm not. But I do enjoy going to the world every now and then, so I am excited for it. Another trailer drop that I was really excited about, but it's not a movie, so I can't really talk about it too much. But Rebels ended earlier this year, Star Wars Rebels on Disney XD, and we all knew that there was going to be another animated series coming out. Dave Filoni was teasing that, they weren't going to say what timeline it was in or what characters it was going to involve. The rumor was it was going to be on the Disney streaming service. Well, a trailer confirmed what the next animated series for Star Wars is going to be. It's Clone Wars. They're going back. They're just going to do Clone Wars again. They're going to finish all the shit they didn't get to finish when it was canceled from Cartoon Network. They're going to go back and tell a lot of the stories that they already had scripted. They already had a lot of pre-production done on, and they already had early animation done on. They're going to go back. They're going to polish it. They're going to finish it. They're going to put it out for one season to end it all, and it is going to be on the Disney streaming service, which I find absolutely fantastic because the Disney streaming service.
Well, is this supposed to come out in 2019? 2019. Okay.
Well, I mean, the show 2019 probably is what I saw.
Okay.
So, but what I was thinking was, I was just like, we know about the Disney streaming service. It's been announced. They've talked about it and stuff like that. We know some shows that are going to be on it, but we haven't seen anything for anything that's going to be on. This is the first time. This is the first thing we're seeing where we're like, that's going to be on the Disney streaming service. You're welcome.
Yeah. Are you excited?
I am, because I didn't like Clone Wars when it first started, but as the show grew, it matured, and it matured with its audience, which was supposed to be boys ages 7 to 12, which is your toy buying demographic. And as they got older, the show aged with them, and now a lot of the fans of it that they found out are adults. The fans that were watching Star Wars Rebels are adults. The fans that were watching Clone Wars were adults. So now they're
a lot of times the adults, well, also Star Wars fans, right? But really, the adults also watch it with the kids.
Right. It's safe for you to watch because you enjoy the content, but it's also, safe for your kids to watch because it's not
and you
bad.
have the internet readily available to just go, geek shit all over
Absolutely.
that thing, and then buy the toys for your kid and also for yourself.
So I'm very excited. The trailer was pretty cool too. It showed like all your famous clones from the series and their helmets with their paint jobs and stuff like that. And as it started to go down the line, they became more bland until eventually they just became the Phase 3 helmet that we see in Revenge of the Sith. And as they keep going forward, they're getting more and more imperialistic looking and more, more drone, more just soldier, no personality at all. Then we get a tease that Ahsoka is going to return. I'm just very excited for it. But that's Star Wars stuff, and it's not movie stuff, so I can't do a full trailer breakdown, even though I just did. Snuck it in there. And Jay snuck in his Grindlewald Crimes one too.
I did sneak it in there.
All right, Jay. We do have some trailers to talk about. We've been going on for better part of a little over 5 minutes now. The first trailer, Jay, we're going to talk about, it's going to be Godzilla, King of Monsters.
But like all living organisms, the Earth unleashed a fever to fight this infection. Its original and rightful rulers, the Titans. For thousands of years, these creatures have remained in hiding around the world. And unless all the Titans are found, our planet will perish, and so will we. They are the only guarantee that life will carry on.
And boom, big Godzilla himself shows up. So Godzilla, King of Monsters.
Right
now, the voiceover you're hearing is coming from Vera Farmiga, who is playing Dr. Emma Russell, and she works for Monarch, Jay. And if you remember Kong Skull Island, Monarch is who John Goodman's character worked for in that. So they are continuing with a lot of the story threads that were dropped in there.
Yep.
But I'm not really quite sure what's going on. I'm going to be honest with you. We're looking for monsters so that they can cure the disease that Earth has. And the disease that Earth has is humanity. So is Monarch helping the Titans destroy humanity? Is that what we're going to do? We're going to help them destroy humanity?
I think they were trying to unleash Godzilla.
No, so there's another...
I don't understand.
There's another shadow organization other than Monarch that is working to also find all the Titans, all the monsters. So, we saw all these classic Godzilla monsters that he's fought in the past. And... this shadow organization is also going after them as the Titans to basically use them for their own means. And Godzilla is the one that will have to fight them and stop them from being used. But in reality, they're I guess they're all these, they're like the keepers of the peace of the Earth, right? They keep the balance of the Earth. But if you're telling me that humanity's diseased, the only way to keep balance is to destroy humanity.
But it certainly looks that way because the fucking trailer is just nothing but a disaster. Like the whole world, Washington, D.C. is just leveled. Everything is just bleak and dour looking 100%. Like the skies are opening up. I mean, it looks bad.
Yeah, even in the opening scene of the trailer, we see Millie Bobby Brown, 11 from Stranger Things.
Yes,
she's on the rooftop talking on a radio, and we just see massive tidal wave crashing through a city, like coming right for her.
Yep.
We also see Bradley Whitford in there.
It's a hell of a cast.
Kyle Chandler,
Sally Hawkins, and Charles Dance from Game of Thrones.
That's the line from the trailer that I really hate because it's him saying it. Charles Dance just going, "Long live the king."
It's too spot on.
And I was like, it's too spot on.
It's way too spot on.
I hate when trailers get so tongue-in-cheeky with you. They're just like, this guy, he once played for the Game of Thrones. Now he's rooting for a king. Yeah. Fuck that. I can't stand
Sally
that
Hawkins and Ken Watanabe are the only cast members returning from the original Godzilla movie in 2014.
Yes,
so,
and Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr. is in this as well. He's playing a military guy. So
this trailer is just weird, isn't it, Dave? Because it's a long trailer. The somber music in the beginning. It's coming out 10 months from now or something. It's the whole next summer. And I just you don't understand what's exactly going on, especially for the average moviegoer. And that's the key. Like, obviously you're going to have the fans go to this movie, but what you need to do is hype up not just the fans, but also the average moviegoers, and nobody knows what the hell is going on.
Just remember when this trailer dropped. It dropped at Comic-Con to a crowd sitting in Hall H.
All right, good point.
So they did show fans this trailer.
Thank you for bringing me back down to reality.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
So yes, it was for the fans.
Yes.
But I mean, kaijus are big. People, Godzilla has a huge following. Jay, it's a huge following. It's a huge fandom.
Yeah,
people really enjoy those old Japanese, Godzilla's. I'm not one of them. I'm not into Godzilla
not either.
that much. I do like a kaiju.
I do want to see Godzilla versus King Kong, though.
I do want to see that, but we got to get through this.
Fun.
Got to get through this to get there.
I know. I don't know why.
He's got to defeat all the other Titans to get there.
Whatever.
and also, like, it seemed like that there was like everything was so blue in this trailer. It was blue, like, because Godzilla has the blue atomic breath that comes out.
Right.
Mothra's wings are blue, and
the sky is just pretty much falling apart.
Yeah, it is very dark. And I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to see levity in it, but I do want to see color. I want to see some sort of color other than iridescent glow. There was a few interesting things in the trailer when they're talking about how ancient societies worship them and stuff like that, and they're uncovering these ruins and these writings from ancient people who used to worship the Titans as gods and stuff. And there's an interesting statue in one of them. It is the statue from The Exorcist. I thought that was extremely interesting that was in there. I'm going to reserve my opinions on whether it's going to be a good movie or not based on its trailer. It's just this trailer was a 2.5 minute teaser,
right?
Which is crazy. A 2.5 minutes, 30 seconds could have got the message across.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
That's a little much.
A little bit of somber music, and then Godzilla rising from Millie Bobby Band standing in front of him. You just go, King of Monsters.
That's it.
Done. Perfect. Jay, let's move on to a trailer that we both, I think, enjoyed quite a bit more than this. Let's talk about Glass.
Maybe this will all make sense if I explain who I am. My name is Dr. Ellie Staple, and I'm a psychiatrist. My work concerns a particular type of delusion of grandeur. It's a growing field. I specialize in those individuals who believe they are superheroes.
Good for you.
The three of you've convinced yourselves you have extraordinary gifts like something out of a comic book.
And yet, it is true.
All right, Jay. So it's true. They do have powers.
Yes.
As Samuel L. Jackson has pointed out to us. I wonder whether James McAvoy has real superpowers. Motherfucker is juiced. Like, he is jacked.
When he turns into the beast, man, there's fucking...
They have that one screen grab.
Lads.
They have that one screen grab of him where he's kind of like screaming and like everything's popping out on him muscle-wise. And
They did it in the first movie in Split.
No, but not like this.
No,
not
quite like that.
So, and I was convinced. I was like, there's some enhancement to that with somewhat. But I saw some pictures of him, and it's...
No, he is jacked.
It's
not,
not...
For 100%. But as far as,
big.
like, the veins and all that stuff, obviously that's CGI. But,
right.
But, like, it's impressive. And it's really actually effective. And that's what's so brilliant about M. Night, man. Thank God. He's coming back in full stride, I think. And this trailer is no different, I think.
I'm not sold on that yet.
I'm sold on... Well, maybe not yet. Not that claim.
But
the trailer, I am on board with 100%.
I think I gave Split like a B- or a B.
I think I gave it a B. But even still, we were being critics. I mean, we're being critical with it.
But I think I was far more excited by Split because of the tease at the end of it. If Split didn't have that tease at the end of it, I might have dropped.
It's a
you might have dropped
completely different world.
Right,
yeah, that's a completely different kind.
But I do really enjoy James McAvoy's acting in it, and I loved seeing a little bit of it here again.
And seeing Bruce Willis seem to give a fuck.
Yeah,
right.
Well, I love that moment where she's talking about how they all have developed these delusions of grandeur, thinking they have superpowers, and that she's there to help them. And good for you, dear.
Yeah. He's brilliant. And I'll tell you, people in the fucking spring last year was saying that he should have gotten like some award notifications or nominations or something like that. And he deserved it because he really,
if the film was better around him, he could have gotten it, but
perhaps.
So Bruce Willis, we don't see a whole lot of in this. He's there. He's in the interrogation room.
He's got some good action though.
It looks like we're going to see more of David Dunn. We're going to find out it kind of seems like he's been operating as as, I guess, technically unbreakable, as whatever his superhero name is.
Sure.
He's been out there operating as the security guard, helping people when he can. And then we're also getting hints that James McAvoy's character
he's still out there,
right after the events of Split, is still out there because
doing what he was doing in Split, essentially.
Because we see a scene where there's 4 cheerleaders all tied up, and he's going around as the young version of himself. I forget what his name, Hedwig. He's going around as Hedwig.
Yeah.
The beast is coming for you. He's almost here. But
you see a fight sequence with those two guys. Like, I guess, Bruce Willis comes back and he bumps into him, right?
Right.
And he sees what he was doing, and he, I think, is hunting him down and trying to find out.
But this trailer has like
on.
a very hard line in it. Like right around 2/3 mark, it turns into a Mr. Glass feature.
Sure.
Where right after he says that
he's going to be the mastermind behind everything.
That it's all true. They start going into the fact that he's had 94 breaks in his body, that his bones are as brittle as glass, but he has a superior intellect. And then we have the moment where he comes face to face with James McAvoy, and James McAvoy talks about going after David Dunn, and he says, "You're talking about a team up." You're talking about the bad guys teaming up, like, because he's very steeped in that comic book, like that comic book history. Like, that's the way he's seeing this. That him and David Dunn are two sides of the same coin. One's breakable, one is invincible. And the Beast is going to kind of be he's going to kind of be the in between of that, where he's the adverse. And what I'm wondering is if he is the wild card in this, the Beast, right? If James McAvoy's character is,
I think so, because he is so unpredictable and so wild.
This is a prediction. Anya Taylor-Joy is back in this, and we see her in the trailer as well. But
Casey Cook,
right? And we see her face to face with James McAvoy at one point, and it seems like she's not afraid of him anymore, right?
No,
because she's already
no. Oh, remember she was really good friends with the the teenager personality of him or something like that. One of the personalities of him.
She got close to Hedwig, the little boy.
Was it the little boy? Okay.
Yeah.
She's probably going to be talking to him directly, because she can go up to that character and say his name, and that personality will come out.
But also, if you remember at the end, the Beast let her live because she's just as broken as he is, right? And that's that was James McAvoy's character's role. All of his character's role in everything is that the imperfect people are the ones that should be ruling the earth, not the normal people. So because she is imperfect, he allowed her to live. And I think that is, going along with the themes of Unbreakable, where Mr. Glass was obsessed with finding his adverse, with finding the unbreakable man to his glass bones. She might be the opposite of what James McAvoy's character is. And I'm wondering whether she will have powers of sorts of her own in it. Because they do tease at one point that there is sort of like a rise of superheroes. Like, there's other ones out there other than just the Beast,
it
Glass,
would make
and
sense
Unbreakable.
to have her become one. It would make sense. And she has that look. And she had that confidence in Split to potentially have something.
And she's in a very delayed, but another comic book movie that's going to be coming out, New Mutants, but that's a very delayed movie.
Very.
But yeah, so I was actually very intrigued by this. The only thing I didn't like about it was the very end of the trailer. It's just like,
me too.
First name, Mr. Last name, Glass. And I was like,
but at the same time, it almost makes sense with him.
Why do you have to on the nose?
Because he's such a geek, like a comic. He wants to
it's all about theatrics, right?
Yeah, he's so theatrical. It makes sense.
But I really enjoyed the trailer. I'm excited for it. Like I said, I don't have full faith in M. Night Shyamalan. This could wind up being a complete dumpster fire.
This is one of those movies where I'm going to be blindly optimistic about.
But everything,
the whole way.
everything
I'm on board.
Everything I'm seeing right now, I'm on board for. All right, Jay, let's do one of our 2 DCEU ones. Let's do Shazam.
You've run from foster homes in 6 counties.
I can take care of myself.
When you're 18, give these people a chance, because that's what they're giving you.
This is Billy Batson. Make sure you make him feel at home.
They seem nice, but don't buy it. It gets real Game of Thrones around here. Dude, just messing around. You look at me and you're like, why so dark? You're a disabled foster kid. You've got it all. If you could have one superpower, what would you pick? Everybody chooses flight. You know why?
So they can fly away from this conversation.
No, because heroes fly.
What, you need your fake family to stand up for you? Hey!
Man, sorry about that.
Go, go, go! Grab it! Get out the way!
Daily Batson. I choose you as champion.
All right, Jade. So that is the Shazam trailer. I think, honestly, it looks like a ton of fun. Like, it just looks like so much fun.
Yes.
But
the more and more I watch the trailer, the more and more I think I'm going to enjoy it and be on board with it.
But with the first time we saw it, there was something you were unhappy about it, but with the look of it. You said it looks a lot like my wife's CW shows.
Yes, definitely. It was just Ubering CW superhero action stuff, you know, like the visuals, the look of it, the campiness of it all. And it's understandable. Obviously, this is going to be a lower budget. It's a kid in a superhero body. I think it's going to be potentially, it depends on how it's written, really rewatchable for a lot of fun and a lot of fans for them to enjoy and just kind of live in that world, essentially.
So it does. So, but for me, like, I think Zach Levy, for me, just, he really does it. Like, he sells the comedy of it.
It was great casting.
Right,
great casting, yeah.
I think, like, if you're going to tell a more lighthearted superhero tale, you need someone like him who can play both, like, that hero look, but also be comedic. A lot like, you know, you could say like about, like, Ryan Reynolds and other such beautiful people who wind up going out there and playing superheroes. But something about it, I think it's just because the tone of the DCEU has shifted so much with so little buffer on the in-between. You know, like, there was a lot of the movies before this have been pretty dark, right up until Wonder Woman, where I felt Wonder Woman did a nice balance of the dark and the humor and the, you know, I thought they made, that was a well-balanced superhero film, and they did it by doing the Marvel formula. Here, I'm wondering if they're adopting from Marvel again, and they're going with the Thor Ragnarok Guardians of the Galaxy route, you know, where things are a little bit more lighthearted and stuff like that, and you'll get your moments of heft in there at times, but I really enjoy, you know, this trailer for the most part. It seems like the movie is going to borrow pretty heavily from the Jeff Johns New 52 reboot of Shazam, where they took away the name of Captain Marvel, because his name in the comics was Captain Marvel for many years. But so since Marvel is going to be having their own Captain Marvel coming out, they're not going to be able to have Captain Marvel, you know, for the DCU as well. So the name was changed to Shazam, which makes sense because that's what everyone called him anyway. That's the magic word that changes him. But yeah, he's a 10-year-old orphan boy. He gets recruited by the Wizard, who in this is played by Djimon Hounsou, who we've seen him in Gladiator and a ton of stuff, but also recently Guardians of the Galaxy.
Just the voice alone, you know who it is.
And we will see him in the Captain Marvel movie as Korath. So he was the one who stopped Chris Pratt's character of Star-Lord, and you know, he's like, I'm Star-Lord, man. Who? So he will be back in Captain Marvel because his character could be alive in the 90s. But you know, I think the true star of this trailer for me, other than Zach Levy, was Jack Dylan Grazer, who we knew as Eddie in It. He was the sickly kid and stuff like that.
Right.
But in this, I just find him hilarious. Like, I love that moment where he's just like, you're looking at me like, why are you so serious? Orphan cripple boy. I love that. So I think the film is, it's definitely a start for a new direction for the DCEU.
Big time. It's a big shakeup, big change, but it's also the property too, right? It's supposed to be kind of like this as well. I think it's going to be a good change of pace for them. I think it's going to hopefully ride the kind of coattails like Ant-Man does, you know, with the Marvel universe of sorts. This is going to be kind of like one of those, maybe not a standalone for now it will be, but perhaps Black Adam will get trickled in somehow.
So that's my big thing where it's just like, you're doing a Shazam movie, and I get having Mark Strong here as the villain, as Dr. Thaddeus, who has been a villain for Shazam before. In the comics, he was this guy who he's a scientist, and he's searching for magic, for a logical explanation for magic, and he's eventually able to see magic through the wizard's powers. Somehow glancing him and hitting him in his eye, he can now see magic through his eye. However, in the comics, he was more of like a super intelligent villain, right? Like Mr. Glass. Like it wasn't that he was super strong; it was that his intellect is what made him dangerous. In this, it looks like they're making him strong. But I love Mark Strong as an actor, so I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what he brings to the table. I think he's an awesome villain. Like I remember, I always go back to him. He's
always a great villain.
I always go back to him in Kick-Ass, like when he was the bad guy in Kick-Ass, and he's been a bad guy for Warner Brothers before, for DC before, because he was Sinestro in that dreaded Green Lantern film. He was the bad guy.
Oh, that's true.
So,
and even Sherlock Holmes, the second one.
That's no, the first one.
Was it the first one?
The second one was Moriarty.
Oh, that's right. Yep. So, yeah, Warner Brothers likes him as a villain. But he's a great villain.
And
That's
it works,
the thing.
yeah.
You know, he's got the voice. He's got the look. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this. Still somewhat excited. I really enjoyed like the whole superhero test stuff. It reminded me a lot of Iron Man 1. If you remember some of the trailers for Iron Man 1 where he's like superhero flight test, number XXX, and then does the crap.
Yeah.
That was all in that marketing material too. But I love him doing the wiggle, like when he's wiggling there. He's doing all these because
it's very current.
It's a man.
Yeah. It's almost like Deadpool in a way where I feel like it's so current. It's so self-aware of itself. Again, like I said, it's all about the writing, man. It's got to be sharp.
Well, that's going to be the real comedy of it, right? Because it's a 10-year-old boy stuck in a man's body, and you're going to be seeing a superhero do these things that you're like, that's so childish, and
Right.
and then you have to remember to yourself, like, well, he is a child.
Yeah, but Zachary Levi can pull that off, I think.
Which may actually give you some Spider-Man-esque elements as well. Some of that stuff that you enjoyed from Spider-Man Homecoming and stuff. You could also get a lot of that type of stuff here as well. So I am looking forward to it. We'll see how it shakes up. It comes out 5 months after Aquaman comes out, and I just find it so interesting that we're getting a trailer for this now, but it's taken so long to get a trailer for Aquaman when that comes out in right around 5 months, and we're 9 months out from this being released, almost 10 months out, and it's taken this long for us to see an Aquaman trailer, but this trailer is dropping. And you can't even say soon, because this feels about right around the right time that this should be dropping. It seems like the Aquaman one was just so delayed, and I just wonder what the difference is in marketing.
I really do just think it's all about the editing room. Shazam has minimum editing to do. They don't have any kind of CGI, not that much at least. And Aquaman is extensive.
I also wonder if it has something to do with James Wan wanting to distance himself from the rest of the DCEU.
Well, and he's a perfectionist too, probably.
And also Warner Brothers wanting to distancing whatever they're doing now moving forward versus the rest of the DCEU. Because I think once they had Wonder Woman come out and they're like, that's it, this is the direction we need to go, this is the direction we should have done the whole time, let's give it some space, let's start releasing out our new films, and then we'll start fresh. We'll kind of do like a reboot, and we'll fit in the other characters that we had in Justice League in as we go along.
It could work, but they gotta deliver.
It could.
It's gotta start delivering though.
All right, Jay, let's go over to our next trailer. And this one, I really, really wanted to get in here because honestly, I think out of all of the trailers that we got from Comic-Con, this was my favorite one. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what it is about it. I just think like it seems so fast paced, so brutal.
Welcome to France.
What happened here? Some questions don't have good answers.
There's a lot of soldiers out there, and there's only 4 of us.
Find out what's inside that compound. What is
is this? A 1,000-year army needs 1,000-year soldiers. We have to do What's behind that wall? What do you do with those people? They have been given a purpose.
I don't know, man. I just love the song choice. Like, I just love mixing that 80s heavy metal with a World War II movie. I don't know what it is about it. I just really liked it.
It really works. It was a hard thing to do, right? I mean, it was one of those things where it set up a whole one side of a movie, and then it just changed like a 180 into some kind of like horror show.
Right. So
of really pretty good looking graphics too, with the horror.
Oh yeah. I thought the CGI on that one guy's face, like at the very end, when it looks like he like just got like a shotgun point blank into his cheek, and you could see through. You could see his jaw. You could see back, and not quite through his head all the way. But yeah, it was gruesome, but it was also nice to look at. You're also like, that's it. That looks good. So this is the latest film from J.J. Abrams' production company, Bad Robot.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a group of United States soldiers who, on the eve of D-Day, discover what looks like a Nazi plot to create. They say in the trailer, 1,000-year Reich, 1,000-year soldiers that, to fight 1,000 battles, right? So these soldiers that will be unstoppable, unkillable, the super soldier,
right.
in a sense, which ultimately leads to zombies, pretty much. These are kind of like zombies. You can't kill them. They are unstoppable force. And it looks like they're uncovering the labs and stuff like that. But one of the things that's really intriguing that has me really excited is, how does this fit into the Cloverfield universe? Because that's where this does take place in, it seems like, the Cloverfield universe. That's what was teased. We know that Netflix earlier this year got the Cloverfield Paradox, which I was very excited for. Once I saw that trailer during Super Bowl, I was fucking stoked.
Right.
I couldn't wait. Went home, watched it, and was just like,
Big letdown.
It was a big letdown.
I know.
But I do enjoy the Cloverfield universe. I like this idea. But I do like the idea of like what Cloverfield Paradox like set forth. The fact that they started up this machine and they used it, it kind of caused this like ripples and shockwaves through dimensions and time, which is causing dimensions to bleed into each other, which kind of allows for these crazy stories like this.
And it works.
And it does.
And this is probably the best looking trailer. Well, besides Glass, for me personally, I think overall fits what they're going for the most. And I'm on board with it 100%.
And I got to say, like, I am in love with with Wyatt Russell. Who he seems
he's a rising star.
Yeah, he seems like he plays the main character in this. I loved him in Everybody Wants Some, but something else that I loved him in is a film that I am hugely I'm a huge hockey fan, so I love The Goon for all of its flaws and everything. I love The Goon. He played Anders Kane in Goon: Last of the Enforcers, which me and John watched this weekend, and it's still fun. It's still fun. It's just
so not as good as the first one. It's still a lot of fun.
It's still bloody and just glorious.
And he's great in Black Mirror as well. He has a great episode.
That was such a great episode of Black Mirror where he gets stuck in the video game. But yeah, he is kind of like on the rise and stuff like that. But I don't know what it is. I enjoy him here. He's beardless and hairless. Like, his hair doesn't come down to his shoulders like it does and everything else.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have quite his look, but I still really enjoy him. So I'm kind of excited for that. And then the other person who I'm excited for is Pilu Asbæk. And if you don't know who he is, he plays Euron Greyjoy in Game of Thrones. And if you remember, when we first started seeing Euron Greyjoy, when he shows up at King's Landing and he starts talking with Cersei Lannister, and he like offers himself up to her and stuff like that. Just that machismo that he had, and he's like the the good-looking trailer park boy, like, you know, the trailer park boy. So like I
catch an STD probably.
Right, all manner of diseases, dude. Everything under the sun, he's got it, and he's done every drug known to man, and he knows, and he sells it too. But no, he looks like a He looks like he's going to be someone who's up and coming as well. You know, he was in Ghost in the Shell in 2017, and then being on Game of Thrones seems to be like a lot of people's ticket to more and more roles. So I was kind of excited to see him here because I did love him as Euron Greyjoy, and I can't wait to see what they do with him in season 8 because we know that he's not done there.
That's true.
But you know, the story just seems simple enough, right? Like just soldiers versus zombies.
Yeah.
Like soldiers versus the undead. Yes. Fuck yes.
In that world, World War II.
It's World War II. Yeah. Just yes.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Take something we know a lot about, you throw it on its head, you add a horror twist, and you just
and with J.J. Abrams' connections, it's gonna look like quality, right? And so far it does in the trailer.
Oh, absolutely. And it's being directed by Julius Avery. He's not a huge name. It seems like, you know, the majority of the stuff that he's directed has been in the TV realm, and short films. He directed Son of Gun, which came out in 2014, which I remember that being something that a lot of people had positive things to say, including you, Jay, because it had your good buddy in it, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, so Son of Gun actually was pretty ballsy. It's a very European, English, I think it's English, movie that just had a lot of balls to it. I think it was, it's Australia. Australia's most notorious criminal. And it was a lot of fun. It was a really manly, testosterone-driven, ball-busting movie. So it was a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to this, and I'm hoping that this can right the Cloverfield ship and make me a fan of it again. It's being released in theaters, so that's a good sign.
I like it. I like this director.
That they're confident enough to put it in theaters and not have
actually promote it, not just
right.
throw it out there in the Super Bowl TV spot.
Oh, here it is. There you go.
That's all we got. The meh.
But also, like Cloverfield Paradox, this was a script that was acquired by Bad Robot and stuff. So it wasn't a Cloverfield movie until initially. So I expect that, unlike Cloverfield Paradox, where they kind of shoehorned in those references to the rest of the Cloverfield universe, I think the references to the Cloverfield universe are going to be far more subtle in this. It's going to take some eagle-eyed people, and you know, I wonder whether all the other Cloverfield movies, they do that viral marketing. They do the where you go onto the website and stuff, and you got to find like these you got to follow like the rabbit trail down to like get into like the deep lore of it and stuff like that. So I wonder if they're going to have any stuff like that coming up.
They'll stick with that.
All right, Jay, the final trailer.
My father was a lighthouse keeper. My mother was a queen. But life is a way of bringing people together.
We could unite our worlds one day.
Check it out. Arthur is talking to the fish.
I've been looking for you. Your half-brother, King Orm, is about to declare war upon the surface world. The only way to stop this war is for you to take your rightful place as king.
Trust me, I am no king.
You do your best thinking when you're not thinking at all.
That was the worst pep talk ever.
Might want to strap in. Welcome home.
My brother has come from the surface to challenge me for the throne.
I call it an ass whooping.
What are you doing? Wait. Should have a parachute.
Redheads, you gotta love them.
I did love that.
Best line of the trailer.
Yeah, redheads. You gotta love them. Yeah, you do, but they're also batshit crazy, so stay away from them. But but speaking of that, the redhead, that's one of the things I have a problem with in this trailer, is there's a few times where Mira's hair just looks like doll's hair. It just looks like real bad.
Extremely red.
And I'm wondering whether those were reshoots.
Obviously, it's on purpose.
I wonder if those are reshoots or
no, that's just how it is.
Because there's a few times where her hair looks okay. It looks fine. But there's other times where it's just very red doll's hair, like she's Ariel from The Little Mermaid.
I think it's supposed to be that way.
Okay. Fair enough.
Sure. This trailer is very bright.
It
very
is.
CGI, very colorful, very pretty.
It is reminding me of Thor in ways, especially when she drops that line. She drops that line, she's like, "You do your best thinking when you're not thinking at all," and it's like it's
like worst pep talk ever.
Yeah, but I feel like that's something someone would say to Thor. But other than that, like, I mean, I don't want to make comparisons to MCU too much. We did that a lot with Shazam. But for this, I like what I know about the production more than this trailer. So I like that, like, James Wan was given the choice of, he was told he could do a film about any of the DCEU characters, with the exceptions of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Everyone else is on the table. Whoever you want to tell a story about, you can. You want to tell Cyborg? Go ahead. You want to tell you want to tell a story about Flash, but like, and any of the other people in the pantheon that have showed up in the DCEU, he was given full reign to just go ahead. If he said, like, I want to make a Lobo movie, they would have told him, yeah, go ahead and make a Lobo movie. But instead, he said, I want to make an Aquaman movie because I want to prove to everybody that I can make a film about this character that people laugh at, and it'll be good. And that level of confidence, but like, it makes me really excited for this film. Yeah. However, this trailer itself, for the most part, really doesn't really make me all that excited.
I'm a little worried that, especially the underwater sequences, are going to be a little too much for the eyes.
Well, the few underwater sequences, like when we see him standing underneath the amphitheater with, like, looking at Orm, who's played by Patrick Wilson, which we both love. So at least we'll have that.
I love Jason Momoa too.
That's an underwater scene. You know, the part where he's the part where, like, the two tridents collide,
sure,
and it sends a shockwave through the crowd. I liked the way that looked. I thought that looked well. I thought that looked good.
Well, I'm curious to see if this is going to be an IMAX 3D.
Oh, definitely. I think.
I might actually give this a go with IMAX 3D, to be honest.
So Nicole Kidman, who we see in the beginning of the trailer, plays Queen Atlanta. She falls in love with the lighthouse keeper. You know, Arthur is born. Arthur is a little kid, and we see that scene that I didn't like when he's a little kid at the aquarium. I did not like that scene. I felt like it was unneeded. I get it. He's
yeah.
I also didn't like the CGI of that shark either. Like,
for that scene, I didn't like it. Yeah. Well, to be honest, I don't know.
But a person we don't see in the trailer who's in this film is Dolph Lundgren as King Neros. But
there's a lot of actors in this movie that we have not seen in the trailer.
Oh yeah, like
Djimon Hounsou is also in this movie as well.
Randall Park, Willem Dafoe, who was supposed to show up in Justice League,
got cut, I think,
and his role got cut. But also Djimon Hounsou. He's playing the wizard in Shazam. He's playing the Fisher King here.
He's fulfilling his Warner Brothers duties as, like, probably like a paycheck.
And the man who plays Thomas Curry, his father, is Tamura Morrison. Tamura Morrison is Jango Fett from the Star Wars universe. And the reason he got this role was because Jason Momoa said that Tamura Morrison was the reason he wanted to begin acting. So Tamura Morrison was in this film that came out in 1994, and it was called Once Were Warriors. And it's one of Jason Momoa's favorite films. So after seeing Tamura Morrison in that film, Jason Momoa, that's when he decided he wanted to be an actor. And that's why Tamura Morrison is here playing his father. And wow. I really like that. I like that.
I love that. Kudos to Jason Momoa to actually seeing that through and making sure that happened.
And it's another guy who's a Pacific Islander, like Jason Momoa is himself and stuff like that.
Sure.
And they have that. They have that connection in a way. I'm just curious because you don't see Tamura Morrison in a lot of American films. So it's and he's also a little old to be playing his father, but it looks like they used a little bit of de-aging technology on him.
I think so, a little bit. He's not going to be in it too much.
No. He's only going to be in the beginning. But as far as like the tone of this film goes, it's definitely doing a good job of like balancing the humor with the action and even some horror elements. Like there's that moment where him and Mira are on that fishing boat and he grabs that light and he dives into the water as all the creatures are coming up at him and he's diving down and the creatures are starting to fall. Like that's a very horror movie like looking scene.
Mm-hmm. That's James Wan, man.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you get when you get like a director like this, because they are extremely visually minded into like what gets an audience's adrenaline going. So that's one of those things that like I am kind of looking forward to in this.
And with the sound quality and also the editing and making sure it's just tonally perfect for an audience member to really get sucked into the movie.
And in this, we get a little bit of introduction about Orm, who, like we said, is played by Patrick Wilson. We know that he is the half brother of Arthur Curry. He's the current king of Atlantis, and Arthur's going to go there and challenge him.
And trying to rage war against the.
Now that's it. So he's going to rage war with the mainland, with the help of the seven kingdoms of the ocean. So it's not just Atlantis. That's just one of the seven kingdoms. But the villain that we don't hear a lot about in this, and I'm not sure if he'll be in it all that much, but we see him in the trailer, is Black Manta, who is the number one Aquaman villain, but he will not be playing a large role in this film according to everyone's projections in this. Yeah, it's very strange because, you know, with Black Manta being like one of his number one villains, they got a virtual no-name to play him.
I know. It's really surprising, to be honest.
It's Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. And like, honestly, if you look at his IMDb, you're excited for everything that he's doing coming up.
Oh, wow. So he's definitely a rising star then.
Right.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the Watchmen TV series that's coming out in 2018. And he's going to be in Jordan Peele's Us, which is coming out in 2019. So you're excited for what he's going to do, not so much of what he
So
has
we will know
done.
this guy one day.
So we will know him one day. But yeah, so I mean, and all those are Warner Brothers productions, so it kind of makes sense that he's someone they nabbed young. And but yeah, he's the main villain for Aquaman, and he is here, and they're teasing him, but he's not going to be playing that large of a role. Again, just like Shazam and everything with the DCEU, I have to temper my expectations. Damn it, they do such a good job of making me want to like the things that they're doing. I liked Justice. I liked the Justice League promotional material. I was a little bit getting excited to it. By the time that third trailer rolled around, I thought, yep, this is it. They righted their ship. They didn't. Looking at these two trailers after Wonder Woman, I'm wondering, like, did they do it? Because we know that Jeff Johns was fired as the chief creative officer and everything for DCEU, but his hands were still firmly planted in these films. He had, and for the New 52, Jeff Johns was writing Aquaman as well as he was writing Shazam. So these are borrowing from the New 52 versions of those characters. So I'm just wondering, now that he's gone, if these two films are successful, where does that leave them again? Because they had so many shifts and so many tonal shifts like throughout their run with all these films. I'm just wondering like where that leaves them after this.
I think this is going to be a very much James Wan's movie. I think he knows what he wanted to deliver as far as finding that balance. I don't think there was, without a doubt, I think he was the right fit for this movie. It's exactly what Warner Brothers wants.
Well, he was the right fit because he selected this movie. He was told he could make a film out of any character, and he chose Aquaman.
But also, I think he knows to take this property into that mixture and blend of horror, adventure, a little bit of comedy thrown in, a little bit of fun thrown in, like all kinds of things mixed together, which is exactly what Warner Brothers wants right now.
I think so too. And I honestly, I think waiting so long to show us the Aquaman trailer might be paying off. It might have paid off.
I think so, because the internet loves it. We might be lukewarm with it. But, you know, it's definitely something where I'm intrigued going forward.
We've been burned by DCEU marketing before, so yes, we're lukewarm.
Yes.
All right, but that's going to do it for our Comic-Con trailer park. Let us know what you think of these 5 trailers. Godzilla, King of Monsters, Glass, Shazam, Overlord, and Aquaman. Reach out to us on Twitter at SuperMoviePod. Let us know what you thought about them. You can also reach out to Jay on Facebook, Super Movie Brothers Podcast on there.
Or Instagram.
You can check out our beer reviews on Instagram. Jay runs that over there as well. That is Super Movie Bros Beer on there. That's where we post all of our beer reviews. But you can also reach out to Jay and talk about some trailers over there too. Make sure that you are heading over to www.forhangovers.com, FOR Hangovers, and using your promo code SMBFish to get your miracle hangover cure. If you enjoy our content and you want to check out any of the additional content that we got going on over to Patreon, make sure you go over to www.patreon.com patreon.com/supermoviebros on there. And of course, we are part of the Podfix Network. We just spent an absolutely lovely weekend with our good friend John from Who Spiked the Puns. So make sure you're checking out Who Spiked the Puns over at whospikethepuns.com and all the other great Podfix shows at www.podfixnetwork.com. Thanks a lot for listening. Have a great night and cheers.
Cheers.